Everyone's worst nightmare when they enter each champion select, autofill. Oftentimes, using your dodge is the best solution, but what if you get autofilled again before your dodge timer resets? In today's video, we'll be breaking down the 3 best autofill champions for each role. You'll notice a common theme in that many of the champions are easy to execute with great utility, which allows you to be effective no matter your skill. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. Starting off in the top lane, the god of autofill is Malphite. You can pick Malphite up and have a great impact on the game, even if it's your first time playing him. The point-and-click poke from Q allows you to effortlessly chunk out the enemy in lane. Don't be spamming it too hard though during the first few levels, as it does cost a lot of mana, so the general rule of thumb is to use Q whenever mana flow is off cooldown. Winning lane when autofilled is not something that happens too often, but it's a consistent reality when playing Mal. Even if you don't win lane, Mal is amazing from behind, as he is one of the best teamfight engage tools with his ult. You can be 0-4, feeding like there's no tomorrow, then hit that one good multi-man R to win the game for your team. The build you'll run is a Frostfire Rush into Winter's Approach 2nd and Thornmail 3rd. In games where the enemy comp is super heavy AD, skipping Winter's Approach and building Frozen Heart instead is a great strategy. The rune page will be Comet with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch, grab Conditioning and Overgrowth for secondaries. Another tanky top who can get the job done no matter your experience on the pick is Cho'Gath. As a scaling tank with great damage, strong objective control, and a 2-second AoE point-and-click silence, it's so easy to be useful on Cho. Simply providing that thick front line for your team to allow your enemies to rain down will be enough to win games on Cho. The point-and-click true damage from ultimate means the enemy has to play very respectful. If there's a Fed assassin on the enemy team, then looking to silence them and use R when they dive in will completely nullify their threat. Full tank Cho is the way to go, as you'll be looking to run a Frostfire into Winter's Approach 2nd and Thornmail 3rd. Roll with Grasp as the keystone, followed by Demolish, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. Triumph and Tenacity are the best secondaries. Our first 2 recommendations for top lane were very strong teamfight picks, but if you'd prefer an AFK split champ to play, then consider Yorick as your autofill top. Your goal when filled on Yorick should be to exert relentless pressure in the side lane. On Hullbreaker completion with ultimate available, the enemy jungler better think twice about trying to gank you. When you're looking to split push, pay close attention to the map. Ideally, you want your team to be in position to capitalize if the entire enemy team comes for you, so don't just push up when your team is in base. Wait for your team to be on the map, then start pressuring. This way, you're either mowing down the enemy's base, or you get collapsed on and your team is knocking down towers across the map. A Hullbreaker rush into Trinity Force 2nd and Cyrilda's Grudge 3rd is the ultimate split build. Pick up Grasp as the keystone with Demolish, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. Free Boots and Approach Velocity are optimal secondaries. Moving on to the jungle, the perfect autofill pickup is Rammus. Rammus has some of the strongest yet easy to execute gank power for any jungler. Q active with Flash or Ghost available allows you to roll right up to the enemy and guarantee a point-and-click taunt. Even if you're first timing Rammus, the impact you can have through early ganks is massive. As the game progresses, Rammus becomes extremely tanky with great engage threat, so you're always going to be useful. With Chemtank completed, it's absolutely disgusting how fast you can zoom in for pick plays. Thornmail is your second item, and Deadman's Plate is a great third pickup. The rune page is Aftershock with Font of Life, Conditioning, and Unflinching. Triumph and Alacrity work best for secondaries. A jungler with a very similar style to Rammus takes home our second slot, being Volibear. Both champs have very easy to execute engage patterns, however, Volley does offer a little more in the damage department early on. If you want a jungler who can go toe-to-toe in skirmishes, then siding with Volley is a great idea. Rammus definitely wins out when it comes down to early gank power though, so each have their pros. Volley has the ability to build full tank, yet still be a consistent damage threat due to his raw base damage and the PTA proc. You can, however, opt for a more aggressive hybrid setup of Chemtank into Zhonya's, which does leave you with a greater margin for error. Diving in with Chemtank, using all your spells, and then using the Zhonya's Stasis to stall out cooldowns and wait for your team is super lethal. PTA with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand are the best primary runes. Grab Nimbus Cloak and Water Walking for secondaries. Our final autofill jungle recommendation has a very simple yet effective playstyle, and that pick is Shyvana. The early gank power is lacking compared to Vali and Rammus, but hard farming to level 6 and heavy emphasis on objective control can be just as impactful with Shiv. Shyvana at 2 items with ultimate available is going to be of great value regardless of the player's skill. Frostfire into demonic build is extremely broken as it allows you to provide a nice frontline for your team while still being able to dish out consistent AoE nukes from E. When filled jungle, especially in the lower ranks, putting your focus on securing dragons is great as you can work towards a soul win condition. Since Shiv deals 20% bonus damage to dragon and gains bonus resist for each dragon she takes, it makes her one of the best champs to apply this game plan. Best rune page for Shiv is press the attack with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Conditioning and Unflinching are the go-to secondaries. If you're auto-filled mid lane, there's really no one better than Malzahar. The game plan with Malz is very straightforward, as you want to play safe until Lost Chapter purchase, and then you have 2 options. Either perma-shove waves and look for roam plays with your jungler, or have your jungler gank when ult is available. Playing off ultimate cooldown is the most important, as it's practically a free kill tool whenever it's up. Teamfight power on Rylai's purchase is extremely strong, as the damage over time effect from E provides a constant slow. Liandry's and Demonic Embrace are the other 2 core items. Run Airy as the keystone with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight work great for secondaries. Our next mid lane pick is extremely niche, but is the most optimal autofill pickup if you're in need of an AD mid. Garen is way more commonly played in the top lane, but actually wins more as a mid laner. Garen does offer much more early lane presence than someone like Malz, and can easily pick up solo kills in many meta matchups. Melee fighters or assassins are who Garen performs best into, and the top 5 most played mid laners are exactly that. Also, even if you're first time in Garen, playing into someone like Yasuo or Katarina is a free win as long as you have fingers. Since Garen doesn't have a single skill shot in his kit, those flashy melee mids have no way to outplay you with their mobility. At level 6, you can just run at the opponent, Q into E followed by ultimate, and ignite for good measure to grab an easy solo kill. Build for Garen is a Stridebreaker Rush into Mortal Reminder 2nd and Dead Man's Plate 3rd. Run Conqueror with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand for primary runes. Pick up Conditioning and Overgrowth for secondaries. You can't go wrong with locking in Annie when filled mid. The champion has a very linear yet effective playstyle, which allows you to be impactful no matter how bad you are. Charge up stun, look for the enemy team to be grouped up, and throw down Tibbers for an AoE melting. Playing around Fog of War and catching the enemy team with your point-and-click one-shot combo as they walk in will allow you to outperform everyone on your team. Luden's into Shadowflame 2nd and Zanya's 3rd is the standard core build. Grab Electrocute as the keystone with Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collector, and Relentless Hunter. Mana Flow and Absolute Focus are great for secondaries. The best auto-filled ADC is Misfortune, and it's not even close. Especially with the lethality build being meta right now, all you gotta do is press R to be productive. Spamming E for poke with Comet is also super brain dead and provides free damage and utility for your team. Using E in lane to chunk the enemy out to where your support can look for an all-in is extremely easy to execute. Core build for MF is an Eclipse Rush followed by Manamune 2nd and Cyrilda's Grudge 3rd. Be sure to run Boots of Swiftness instead of Greaves, as the extra movement speed is more valuable than attack speed when playing lethality MF. Rune page is Comet with Mana Flow, Absolute Focus, and Scorch. Free Boots and Biscuits are optimal secondaries. Lethality Sivir is a very close second when it comes down to auto-filled bot lane picks. The constant wave clear, movement speed boost from ultimate, and long-range poke damage gives you many different ways to make an impact. Even if you fall behind in lane, stalling the game with perma-shove from Q and W will give your team a great chance to scale up. Similar to MF, you don't need to know how to kite or use any flashy mechanics to be successful with Sivir. Even if you don't auto at all and just throw out Qs whenever it's off cooldown, you're going to be more productive than the majority of enemy ADCs. Core build for Sivir is a Manamune Rush followed by Duskblade 2nd and Cyrilda's Grudge 3rd. Lucidity boots are key as you want maximum ability haste to spam Q. Run Dark Harvest with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Treasure Hunter for primary runes. Mana Flow and Transcendence are the prime secondaries. We covered the 2 best auto-filled marksmen, but the best auto-filled bot lane pick in general is an AP carry. Veigar is an extremely potent champ to play when you're filled bot lane, as he scales tremendously well, has point-and-click burst along with some of the best zone control for any champ. Farm up with Q in lane to get your AP stacking, follow up on supports engage plays with your E, and you're going to have a great time on the Veig. Make sure to max E out 2nd instead of W, as you want the added utility over extra damage when filled. If you can survive lane without inting and make it to the mid game, even if the enemy ADC is on roll, you're going to provide more than them. Everfrost is the rush item, followed by Rabadon 2nd and Anathema's Chains 3rd. Pick up Electrocute with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ingenious Hunter for primary runes. Most efficient secondaries are Mana Flow and Transcendence. When autofilled support, we have a few different recommendations. If your ADC has already locked in a strong early game pick like Lucian or Samira, then roll with Nautilus for a nice synergy. Not being a CC bot is going to bring something to the table each and every game. We value Naut a little higher than other engaged supports like Leona or Blitz due to the fact that Nautilus has an easier to execute chain CC combo. R into Q and then passive is a simple yet broken combo that even the worst mechanical players can pull off. The build for Nautilus is an Even Shroud into Zeke 2nd and Wardstone 3rd. Rune Page is Glacial Augment with Hex Flash, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Grab Shield Bash and Bone Plating for secondaries. Playing champions with Press R to win spells will give you a great chance to come out on top every game, and Soraka is one of them. Once you reach mid to late game, there is just one spell you need to worry about pressing consistently, and that's a point-and-click heal. If you can position in the backline and be a reliable heal bot throughout teamfights, you're going to win games when filled on Soraka. The AoE heals from Redemption and Ultimate in mid-game fights can single-handedly win games as they take no skill to use. Moonstone Rush into Redemption 2nd and Warmog's 3rd is a godlike core build. Run Guardian as the keystone so you have a greater margin for error. Being filled means it's more likely you may miss position from time to time, so having the extra durability is nice. From an engaged support to an enchanter, and now the best AP carry you can play when filled, being Zyra. No matter how hard you feed the early game or how bad your AD carry is playing, Zyra is always going to be impactful come teamfights. The AoE zone control from Ultimate, consistent DPS from plants, and long-range pick from E will have you topping the damage charts. Once you complete Liandry's, you have the ability to 100 to 0 squishies by yourself, so there's no need to rely on your ADC. If you can play around choke points, force the enemy team to walk in, and blast them with an E into ult combo, you're grabbing easy wins even when filled. Comet is Zyra's best keystone with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Roll with Taste of Blood and Relentless Hunter for secondaries. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So that's going to be all for this one, as you're now completely up to date with the best autofill champions for Season 12. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.